Hey everybody, welcome back to Electric Cafe. Today's album review is on Heavenly Body's 1988 album called Celestial. I was feeling a little under the weather today, and so I'm wearing this hat to keep my head warm because it's also like 22. I think it was like down to like 15 degrees last night, which isn't extremely cold, but it's definitely cold. You know, I'm sure there's people out there that are probably even way colder than that last night, but it's been kind of a cold year so far here in the East Coast. Last few weeks, anyways, and then I guess it was part of like November that was really cold too. I think we got a little bit of snow in like even early December, if I remember correctly. But feeling a little under the weather today, so I'm wearing this, and then I put it on, and I was looking at myself in the mirror, and I I look like it reminds me of. Do you guys remember in like the early '90s when all like this stoner kind of indie bands like they would sort of wear those hats and it would have like the string and pulled down. I don't know if maybe like Stone Roses did that or Happy Mondays or maybe even Spin Doctors. Maybe the lead singer sort of had something like that. But I remember in like 1993 when I was in high school, a lot of people had that hat, like these little kind of beanies with the strings coming down. Anyways, I'm representing my Facts T-shirt today. Mad respect for Facts. Um, if you're interested in where to get a shirt like this, let me know. Just post a comment and I'll look it up. I'll look it up for you. One of my friends out of UK is making these shirts. Represent the Facts label. Pete Namlook, R.I.P. So yeah, Heavenly Body. So this is a one-off album from 1988 from a couple of guys from Dead Can Dance, Scott Roger and James Pinkner, and then also a singer named Caroline Siemens, who I couldn't really find too much about, although she was in a couple of tracks off of on Mortal Coil. She did a couple tracks with them, lead singing, and also James Pinkner is of SPK, who they're on my list to review an album coming up soon as well. I haven't got a chance to add them onto the channel in doing a review, so expect the SPK review coming up for those that like industrial as much as I do. But this album is very much. I mean, I think it was released on 4AD, if I'm not correctly, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe not. But it's very much a 4AD sounding album. It's almost like, and that's a good thing, especially if you like 4AD, you like Cocktail Twins, you like Dead Can Dance. It's definitely got the post punk and atmospheric, down, and it's got those styles down. And Caroline sings really strong too. I think it's kind of a shame that she didn't sing on maybe another album they did or some other shoegaze album. I think, like I think she could have had a strong career with some kind of band. You know what I mean? Like it's just too bad this is only a one time album. But I think she has strong vocals. I think some songs her voice is really really strong at, and some are pretty good too. There's nothing that is like questionable, or I mean her voice goes really well with the music, even more so. I think the things, if you think of like Dead Can Dance or Cocktail Twins, what's the difference here is if I can describe that to you, it's a little bit more aggressive. It's got more bass, more bass bass lines, and then also maybe a little bit more aggressive drum machine also. Other than that, the voices, they'll remind you of Dead Can Dance and Cocktail Twins. The guitars will remind you of that. The moodiness will remind you of that. Everything else will remind you of a 4AD album. Mortal Coil as well. There's some. This is a very consistent album, and I think I found this album probably about 10 years ago, and I bought it based on just the artwork because it looks great, and took a chance on it and was pleasantly surprised to see that the members. Sometimes I didn't even read the hype sticker on it that they were on Dead Can Dance or Mortal Coil. I just bought it from the album. I remember I didn't even realize that they were in that they were they did this album until I probably jumped on Discogs and read it and looked into this album probably more further. But this album is really consistent, and when I came to rate it, I knew I would rate it good, but I think I actually ended up rating it even a little bit better than I thought I would, and that's always good. My favorite songs on here are the last one, Sendero Luminoso, and then also Rains on Me, and Obsession, and Stars Collide. Those are my four favorite songs. There's definitely a lot of tribal drumming on here, which maybe I wouldn't say is different than Dead Can Dance at all, because Dead Can Dance does a lot of that, but more so than Cocteau Twins. The guitars are strong as well. I think they do hit a little, because it's a little bit more aggressive on the rhythm, and maybe some songs are a little bit faster than Dead Can Dance or even the earlier Cocteau Twins, which is a little bit more more post punk and maybe little less ethereal. Um, this the guitars have a little bit different sound and aggressiveness to them as well, where they hit some different tones they're really kind of unique and different, and they're very close to Cocteau Twins in a lot of ways. But I think they do hit some notes that are different and a little unique within the more aggressive rhythms of the tracks. There's 9 songs on here. As far as the tracks ratings for me, I gave 3.25 stars to Rains on Me, and you'll see a very consistent album. You'll see from my rankings. And Obsession, I really like this instrumental, the keyboards, and even the sax, nice and moody. 3.5 stars. Time Stands Still, 3 stars. Nice celestial kind of good shoegaze track for sure right here. Track 4 is probably it's close to being my least favorite, but it's 2.5 stars. Stars Collide, 3.25 stars. The guitars are really good. I like the more rocking bass this has. I think it's a good change of pace and probably a little bit more aggressive, and a nice song kind of right in the middle to kind of uh, kind of be that song to kind of take the album to the second half. It does a good job of being one of the strongest songs on the album. Road to Maralinga, 2.25 stars. It's my least favorite track on here. It's an instrumental. It's got some didgeridoo and some drumming, and it's still a good track. 2.25 stars. Shades of Love might be. It's not my least favorite. I gave it 2.5 stars, but it might be my least underwhelming song that has vocals in it. There's the instrumental and then maybe Icon, but Icon's tied with it for 2.5 stars. But I feel like Shades of Love it sounds good, but it doesn't really go anywhere. Cavatina, track number 8, nice ambient track, 3 stars. And then my favorite track, the last one, Sendero Luminoso, 3.75 stars. Probably the most complete song for me. It's dramatic, it's ethereal, dare I say more powerful than Cocteau Twins sound. It's got a really powerful rhythm section, combined with their lyrics. And, it's pushing a little bit past 5 minutes, so it's probably the most dramatic, longer piece on the album, by far. And so it ends on a great note. And I really like that song very much. It's my favorite. So 29 stars divided by 9 is a 3.22, and that kind of correlates to about 73 out of 100, and I'm pretty good with that score. Very strong. I think before I listened to this again, I was probably in the high 60s, maybe 70. But I got a few extra points out of it for sure, and got deeper into it, and felt like I probably listened to this album 4 or 5 times this week, and and because I wanted to see how much it really kind of grew on me, which I think was really important for this rating of this album. Because every time I listened to it, it got a little bit better. I think I was able to kind of hear the nuances a little bit, and the songs kind of started to shine a little bit individually. I think through the first time, playing the album in a while, it kind of was a little bit. Nothing was really sticking out. Everything was good, but it wasn't like. Everything was kind of muddy, and things were kind of going together, and I don't know if that's because of the track times. There's like two or three instrumentals in here, so there's not a lot of there's not a lot of, but I'm saying there's really only 5 songs that have words on them. So there's 5 real songs. Excuse me, 6, and then 3 instrumentals. You know what I mean? So it's like, some of them kind of blend together, which is good. It's just, I don't think any of them were really sticking out as much as I kind of hoped to kind of understand how good the record was, and I feel like playing it a few more times, I kind of was able to individually spotlight songs a little bit better. So yeah, I'm curious to hear your thoughts on this album if you've heard it. Again, it's a shame that they didn't do another album, and I really couldn't find too much on the singer either. Looked like she did like a trance track, in like the late '90s, and that was pretty much it. But nice voice. It goes great with the '80s kind of shoegaze sound this is. And I would think like if all the shoegaze albums that you see in videos and ranked and stuff like that, the obvious ones, like if you did like a top 20 shoegaze albums from bands that aren't recognized, this would probably could be a good pick for a list like that. It's definitely underrated like that, and I think I think it's besides being a very good album, obviously, I think it's unique in some ways, and really kind of an offshoot of a couple band members that it's just disappointing they didn't do more. That's what I was thinking anyways. But I was like, wow, they should have done more albums than this. This is great. In fact, imagine if like the Cocteau Twins, after they kind of broke up, they kind of asked her if she wanted to sing. It would have been kind of interesting. But yeah, just curious your thoughts on this album if you've heard it. If not, if I can suggest a song, check out Sendero Luminoso by Heavenly Bodies. Check out that song and tell me what you think of it, and I'd be curious to know your opinion. If you like Cocteau Twins, if you like Dead Can Dance, if you like Mortal Coil, this is a must for you. You gotta check this out. Alright, thanks so much for watching.